And we are live. Hello, hello.
Hello.
So it's Wednesday afternoon or evening, depending on where in the world you are. And today, Shona and I are talking about if you're feeling anxious about getting back into the saddle after you've had an injury, after a fall, or after an extended time off. So we're here to answer your questions. So if you have questions, pop them in the comments, and we will answer them. We've had a couple of people send us some questions that we will address at the beginning. And if you are joining us for the first time, I'm Anne Gage, the horse riding confidence coach, and I help anxious horse riders get back in the saddle with confidence. And with me is Seonaidh Jamieson.
So I am a personal trainer and I help horse riders feel better in their body, feel more confident in the saddle, and manage all of that without going in the gym and without compromising our already busy schedules.
Great. So if you're here joining us live, pop in the comments, say hi. Let us know where you're watching from. And if you do have a question, pop it in. I'm just going to see, I'm getting a little techie here, and see if I can share this. If I can find it on my phone and share it into the Confident Horsemanship community. Oh, there it is. How do I do that?
So you should be able to click share.
Got to mute myself. Share. There we go. Share to a group. Look at that.
We're getting good at this tech stuff.
Oh my God, I can't believe. There we go. Okay, thanks for bearing with me while I did that. And while I do that. And why are you not going?
So it should just go from being a little, we're gonna get like crazy here. You end up going from just a little blue button to a little clear thing.
Okay, so we have Veronica's watching, Claire is watching. Pop in the comments and say hello. Oh, we even have captions showing up.
This is so exciting.
All right, so if you could just pop something in the comments and let us know the comments are working, because we are doing this from StreamYard, and it's telling us that we have 4 people watching us. All right, so I'm going to get into the first question here. And this, if I can find it, I was going to pop it up. There we go. So this was from Imogen, who says, last year I had a bad fall and really hurt my back. Since then, I've had a mental block about riding my horse. And this included not having the confidence to hack or school. So I really struggled to ride. My horse is loud and he bucks. So anything more than a trot, I'm having trouble with my confidence to do it. And this is a very common issue because there was a couple other people who sent in a similar question saying, I've fallen off. I can't get over this. I can't relax. How do I stay calm through the fear so my body doesn't respond with stiffness? So very, very common question. Shona, would you like to address the physical part of that and what's the best way to come back to the saddle when you are coming back from some sort of not a massive injury, but some soreness in your body?
Yeah, absolutely. So she has said that this was a bad fall and really hurt her back. So the first thing I would say is go and see your physio. If you're worried about your horse having a sore back, you would go and get them checked out. We are just as important a part of the horse rider partnership as our horse. So go and get everything checked out. Make sure there's nothing untoward happening. Once you know what is going on and your physio can give you exercises to help your recovery, you know that you're not going to be causing yourself any harm by getting back in the saddle and starting to do things again. You get that little bit of confidence from speaking to your physio that you just can't get in any other way. So for anyone I work with who's had an injury, physio first. get their sign off to come back into things. And if you've had an injury for a while, so it was last year, if you haven't seen a physio, still go and just get it checked out. Make sure there's nothing untoward going on, because I mean, I know that I am also a horse rider, and I have been prone to not addressing my injuries in the way that I should have. And I've sometimes left it 6 months before seeing a physio, and I've immediately felt loads better. The other things that we can start to do before we start thinking about riding, if you've hurt your back, I mean, that in particular, it just impacts your entire way of moving. So chances are you might have lost a bit of strength, a bit of confidence in moving your own body, even off the horse. So I would start to work on your core strength and stability. So we shared an awesome exercise, was it last week or the week before? So marching on the front of a chair or doing it in a wall sit to just start building that stability in your core. Hi Liz. And just start building up that core strength. Start introducing some stretching, some strengthening work. And I mean, I'm happy to help with more specifics on that. It's quite hard when we've got quite a general question, but we want to work on mobilizing, stabilizing, and strengthening the muscles that we have that help us ride. And then I would start to think about going back in the saddle. And this is where you're going to look at more your mindset coaches as well. Once you've got that confidence in your body, then it's time to start thinking about getting the saddle. If you still feel off the horse, try and sort that out before putting pressure on yourself to get back in the horse. The horse doesn't know that it's not being ridden. You can still do plenty of fun stuff from the ground too. I mean, I'm a big fan of groundwork. I'm going through a phase at the moment. So, you know, there's still lots of options to do with your horse. So take the time to work on you and your physical well-being first. And don't worry if that takes time. You want to feel strong and stable, and then you can look at getting back in the saddle. And I'll let Anne talk a bit more of the mindset stuff, and then I'll talk a bit more about pain and how it functions when you're kind of recovering as opposed to in that kind of acute phase.
Okay. So the confidence side of it, I mean, when you've been injured, even though it, you know, whether or not it's a massive injury your bought or a lighter one. So the fall that I had that really killed my confidence, I wasn't hurt physically. I was bruised. Yes, I was a little sore, but you know, nothing more than I'd had any other time. I was a figure skater when I was a kid, so you know, lots of falls, bumps, bruises. One thing is that as a kid you can fall and it doesn't seem to affect you mentally as much, but it gets to be a certain point in our lives when, and this is what happened in my situation, where just the possibility of getting injured can impact your confidence. If you have been injured and now your body is tight, it is sore, and your body tends to hold on to that tension, then that affects your mind, because we have the mind-body connection. So yes, first of all, you've got to address what's going on with your body, because if your body doesn't feel well, if it's not moving at its best, then it's going to be harder to regain your mental confidence. When you've had a fall like that, then your brain remembers, your unconscious mind says, oh, we did that and we got hurt. So anytime it looks like you're going to be doing something that might replicate that, I'm going to send off this alarm bell that says you should not be doing that. And it's by getting into that unconscious mind and changing that and saying, yes, you know what? I learned from that. I learned what I should do and what I shouldn't do, what I need to pay attention to prevent me from ever having that same experience again. And we change what's going on in the unconscious mind so that we still have our little alarm mechanism that says, hey, you're really in danger here and pay attention, as opposed to that alarm that's going off all the time. It's a bit like a car alarm or a smoke alarm in your house that, you know, it has a job to do. It's supposed to warn you when, say, the smoke alarm, when there's smoke in your house, when there's potential fire. It's supposed to go off then and bring your attention to it. It's not supposed to go off when you're boiling a pot of water or, you know, something like that. It's just not supposed to go off at all these other times. That just drives you crazy. So what we need to do is take a look at what happened in that, because we're dealing with a specific incident, that bad fall where you hurt your back. Go back and have a look at that incident and see, what do I need, what caused it, what do I need to do for myself as a rider, and perhaps for my horse, because you did mention that your horse bucks. So what does your horse need, so we can eliminate that behavior from him, so we're reducing the risk? What do you need to improve or focus on a particular area of your riding ability, your competency? And then what, well, not then, but also what do we, there are techniques I take my clients through for dealing with specific information or specific situations where we can eradicate the negative emotions and the negative thinking that are connected to that memory. So that once that is gone, you've got the lessons you need to be improved, to improve your horse, so you're not dealing with that same result again. Does that all make sense?
It does from where I'm sitting, for sure.
Okay.
And there's a similar effect with your body as well. So as Anne has said before, so I've had a fair few injuries myself. So I will keep bringing this one up because I live in Yorkshire, I drink a lot of cups of tea, and not being able to pour the kettle with my right hand was possibly one of the worst experiences of my life so far. So it took a while to trust that it wouldn't hurt when I poured the kettle again. And when we start riding again after an injury, we need to learn how to trust that our body can do that again. And, you know, our body just wants to keep us alive and just wants to keep us safe. So what can be quite nice to do is do some breathing work and just mimic the movement. So mimic the positions that you'll be in the saddle, take it steady, go for a walk, and just observe how things feel. Enjoy the sensations, try and relax. If you feel your body tensing up before you're about to do something in particular that you might expect to twinge or be uncomfortable, almost half halt yourself. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out, let go of any tension, and then do the movement. When we are coming back from an injury and we still have a bit of discomfort while we're training or while we're doing our conditioning work, we generally don't want that to go above about a 2 or 3 out of 10. That is, like, rehab is not always comfortable, but we don't want it to be painful. And if you do experience that bit of discomfort, pay attention to how you feel 24 hours after. If you feel stronger and more stable, you're going in the right direction. If it feels a little bit unhappy, your body's giving you really good information. And that's something that we can be really grateful for. Our body is really clever, and as long as we know how to listen, it can tell us what it needs. You know, it's a clever system. So we can take that and say, okay, well, maybe I did a little bit too much there. Maybe I need to do a little bit more off the horse to kind of protect this bit, to mobilize, to strengthen, to improve my flexibility, improve my stability. And obviously, there's a lot of specifics within that. So, I mean, I am also in Anne's group. Feel free to drop in messages about this as well, and I will happily help you with specifics. But generally, if you feel discomfort, we don't want it to be over a 2 or a 3 out of 10. And if you feel like you're stronger and more stable in the day afterwards, you're going in the right lines. And if you do feel like there's pain again, drop me a message your physio again. There are folk out there that can help you manage that as well.
Perfect. So you mentioned about breathing, and you took us in, I think, our first live together. You mentioned this breathing technique, and breathing is key. So addressing this question that came up about how can I relax when I get nervous when I'm riding, when I'm already in the saddle, how can I deal with those nerves? And breathing is the first step to go to, because that fear mechanism goes off, so it gets triggered in your brain. It says, uh-oh, we have trouble, and you get the physical symptoms of that, which is shallow breathing, or holding your breath, or breathing really quickly. And when you can calm that breathing down, then your brain, that it turns off that, or turns down or turns off that sort of alarm mechanism that had kicked in. So Shona had shared or mentioned a very good breathing technique that gets your whole back and rib cage involved, so that you're releasing the tension in a large part of your body. And again, it's that mind-body connection. So Shona, maybe you can talk a little bit about that, which breathing exercise I'm talking about.
I know exactly which one. So when you're thinking about breathing in, so if you've done any yoga, you'll be very familiar with belly breathing. So breathing down and letting your belly expand, and then breathing out and letting your belly fall. Instead of thinking about just breathing into your belly, we're going to maintain just a little bit of tension through our core, and we're going to think about expanding in all directions. So as we breathe in, we're thinking about our rib cage expanding everywhere. So we're asking our back to get wider. We're feeling ourselves breathing into the entire column of our torso, and we're breathing in, and everything is moving out. And as we breathe out, we're just letting everything fall back in. Everything is moving together. We're getting a nice bit of movement in our upper back. It just helps to release any of the tension in the muscles in our shoulders. And it's a really just nice, gentle way of just releasing upper back tension. Really good if you're sitting at a desk too, and you find yourself sitting like this and you're just a bit stiff. Sitting up, a few deep breaths, because our back is designed to move as we breathe. And, as Western adults, we kind of manage to breathe wrong a lot. So just focus on everything expanding through your whole torso. And as you breathe out, just really letting go of the tension in your body.
Yeah, and I would ask, if you're watching us, whether you're here live or you're watching the replay, just type in, do you deal with tight upper back when you're riding? Do you have tight shoulders or tight in the back of your neck? Those are very common places that we hold tension and may not even be aware of it until somebody points that out to you. And again, when you're holding tension in your body, your brain is going, uh-oh, we have a problem. And it knows that your brain knows that when your body is tight like that, you cannot deal with situations that might come up. You might be fine while you're walking along, but if your horse has a little whoopsie spook, not talking about a great big thing, but suddenly change a direction or a sudden movement you weren't expecting, if you're tight, you can't move with that and stay with your horse, and your brain knows that. So that's why we have this little alarm system going off. Says we're not quite balanced, we're not quite supple, we could be in trouble. So doing that breathing that engages your upper back and into your neck and into your shoulders, you become more aware of those tight areas and you can release them.
Yeah. The other thing that's really good to be aware of is most people will have physical tells that they're feeling nervous. So I was helping a friend of mine the other day, and usually her hand is a nice, straight line. She gets nervous, her wrist kinks. And it was a really easy tell. And if you've got a friend, and I have tells as well, if you've got a friend or an instructor that you trust, it's worthwhile saying, like, do I do anything in particular? And then you can just have that bit of awareness about that bit of your body. And again, our body tells us a lot about what's going on, and our mind and body absolutely intertwined, connected. If you spot that little tell, you can do that breathing exercise. You can put yourself back in your comfy position. You can work out of that tell. I mean, power poses exist for a reason. Our body, like our posture, does impact our brain just as much as vice versa. So putting yourself back in your happy position is a really good thing as well. And that tell is really useful to know about too.
Yeah. So Liz says, yes, she has tight shoulders. A lot of adult riders do. And so I'd love it if you gave that breathing technique a try, Liz, and let us know how that works for you, if you feel a shift or if it brings even more awareness, because you can't fix what you're not aware of, right? And very often we are not aware of our own bodies. So to be the best rider we can be, we need to be aware of our bodies, we need to be aware of our horses, and we need to be reading our horse and then be able to give our horse what our horse needs. And as Shona said, we need to listen to our bodies and give our bodies what they need. So there's a lot of similarity there. And those things go a long way. So when you can read your horse and you can give your horse what he needs, so he doesn't have to buck, because bucking is just a behavior that says there's a problem with the horse. And generally that is confusion or pain. That's what the horse is responding to. It's a defensive mechanism to protect himself. So when you're aware of these subtle signs of tension in your horse and you can release those before it leads to the buck, then you can do the same thing. You can do the same thing for yourself. You can notice those physical signs where you're holding the tension and release it. And then you're not going to be feeling so anxious. Liz says doing a body scan, which is, yes, a great exercise, and something I take people through in my workshops, my confidence horsemanship workshops, to do that body scan from head to toe, all your joints. And when you're riding, you can be doing that.
Yeah. Every half halt is an opportunity for you to half halt yourself too.
Yes.
I kind of combine the two.
Slow everything down. Our brains run away with us. And when you focus on the breath, slows your thought down, because your brain can only have one thought at a time. So you give your brain something else to think about. So if you're worried about something that is not likely to happen, and you phrase things as a question to your brain, so you give it a problem to solve, or you focus on your breath as you inhale and you exhale, and you just slow everything down. Again, that goes a long way to helping ease those anxious feelings. Okay, so anybody have any questions while you've got both of us here? And because there's a delay between you typing in your question and us actually seeing the question, you can hit the like button or the love button. You can share this with your friends if you like. Tag somebody who would benefit from this information. And I'm just going to take a moment to talk about the Focused and Fit to Ride program that Shona and I are offering, that will be starting the week of June the 22nd. It's a 4-week online program, but we'll be teaching live. And there will be a live Q&A component. We'll be doing it on Zoom, so you can actually talk to us. And it's focused on helping you be the best rider possible for you, to be the best partner for your horse, to be a confident partner for your horse. And as we've talked about in this live, that connection, that mind-body connection, which is why we're doing this together. So Shona's bringing in her physical fitness expertise. I've got the mindset expertise and understanding the horse's behavior, if that's an issue as well. So we can cover all of those areas in this program. There's a private Facebook group, got Live on the Brain, private Facebook group where you'll have support. We'll keep you motivated. We'll be answering your questions, and you'll have lifelong access to all of the course materials. So there's an early bird price on right now, and you get to pay in your preferred currency. So pounds, Canadian dollars, US dollars, it's all there. And I think here's Shona clicking, so I think she's putting the link in to the comments as I say that. And that the early bird ends on Sunday, midnight UK time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, and 4 p.m. Pacific. I think I got all the time zones.
I do apologize that the timings are all UK biased.
All right. Well, this is a worldwide event that we are doing. So we're covering all areas.
There you go. And of course, you are more than welcome to drop us questions as well. I mean, Anne and I are both really excited about this, so I'm pretty sure any opportunity to talk about this will go down well with both of us.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think ask either of us questions. And I think if you have questions about either element as well, so if you want to know more about what the physical side involves, if you've never worked with a personal trainer before, you're more than welcome to get in touch and we can talk about that too.
Okay, so Imogen has given us an update. She says, my horse bucks out of excitement. He's had the physio. There's nothing physically wrong, which is what scares me because sometimes I won't expect it. And with the mental block of getting hurt, I'm scared of asking him to canter because he gets so excited. Is there any mental advice for me that I can talk myself through to calm myself down? So, yes, you can. So Imogen, if you can give me a little bit more information, what happens in your head when you start to feel anxious? I'll just wait a moment, give you some time to type that in. Because it's important to know for the individual person what is going on inside your head in order to give you, I mean, it's the same thing as dealing with the horse's behavior. So the bucking, you've had the physio check him out, you've had saddle fit done, potential of ulcers, so any physical problems, bitting problems, teeth problems, anything that can cause the horse any level of discomfort can cause the bucking. The other thing that can cause the bucking, if there's nothing physically wrong, is that the horse is not balanced when he's being asked to go up into a canter, or he's anticipating the canter, and because for him and his experience, canter transitions have not been pleasant for whatever reason. I'm just saying this very generally. I'm not saying specifically in this situation. That he's anticipating, as you're anticipating, that there's going to be a problem, that it's going to be uncomfortable, and that's why he bucks. So you need to, with your horse, really break down that transition from the trot, making sure if you're doing a canter from a trot, that he's very balanced in the trot, that he's got the correct bend, that he's lifting his back, that he's pushing off his hindquarters, not dragging himself forward with his front end into the canter. Got to really break it down and see, is there a problem here? For the mental side of it, Imogen says, I feel overwhelmed and it upsets and it frustrates me because I can't talk myself out of being so worried. So you're creating a picture. In order to feel anxious, we're either focusing on something that happened in the past or creating a story about what might happen in the future. It's one of those two things. So if your brain is going back to, hi Mary, if your brain is going back to that incident where you came off and hurt your back, you've got to do the work on, that's the root cause. We've got to do the work on that root cause and eliminating the negative emotions connected to that. If you're projecting into the future and anticipating and creating basically a story that says this is what's going to happen in the future, then we have to change that story and implant that into your unconscious mind, so that you got to go back to remembering or recalling a really good ride, sometime when you had a really good canter on your horse, when everything went really smoothly. You got to recall that and play that memory over and over and over and over, so it becomes stronger than the negative memory. Does that make sense, Imogen? I can only talk to it generally in this format we're in. This is the kind of stuff we get into more detail. We can help individuals in the program because it's, as I said, it's a live on Zoom thing, and it's the kind of thing I can help individuals with my one-to-one coaching.
And this is actually exactly what Anne has helped me with my riding. So Anne and I have had a kind of shared experience almost of both of us having lost our confidence. I didn't have a fall, I had a disagreement and I got off. So, I didn't even have a fall when I lost my confidence, and Anne helped me specifically with Canter Transitions. And I can honestly say that it's been the biggest difference to my riding in the world. And everything that Anne's saying, I mean, I can I'm going through the process that Anne did with me in my head, and I am smiling because I remember the exact like happy rides that Anne got me to visualize, and I still use that. And it was a couple of years ago now that me and Anne had this session, and I still use all the stuff that Anne taught me in that session to specifically help with Canter. And it's quite a personal thing as well. So Anne is addressing it very generally here, but talking to Anne one-to-one, it's like giving your mind a hug. Like it's made such a difference. And I know it sounds like I'm totally just plugging Anne because I'm doing a course with her, but I wouldn't be here if I didn't think Anne was awesome. So it's well worth speaking to Anne about it too, because if I could get paid for overthinking, I would be a millionaire. And my Canter transitions have felt pretty good since working with Anne, and I can detangle what's going on when they don't feel good.
And Canter transitions are an issue for a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. Imogen says he does. Let me pop it up here. He doesn't anticipate canters. There's certain places on hacks that I used to ask for. Yeah, so the horse learns. Whether you're in a school, in an arena, or out on a hack, you always ask for the transition at the same spot. Then yes, the horse will anticipate because they've learned this spot means this is what we're going to do. So it's always best to ask for your transitions in different places. One technique I use with my riding students who have horses that anticipate the canter or are anxious about the canter or are learning the canter is to first set up the transition without actually cantering. So whether it's out of your walk or out of your trot, you're setting up the transition, and you can feel, yep, if I ask now, my horse would canter, but you don't ask for the canter. You just go back to whichever gait you were in until all of a sudden you'll be doing that, and boom, you'll be into the smoothest canter. You canter, and you don't go and canter around the whole school. You don't, canter for half a kilometer on the trail. You do a few steps. You do 2, 3, 4 strides of canter and come back down to walk or trot. And you do that over and over until both of you are no longer anticipating. It's about the quality of the transition is what gives you the quality of the gait. If you have a bad transition, you're going to be dealing with an unbalanced, rushed gait that you've gone into. And that goes for all gaits. If you don't have a good quality walk, don't canter. Walk is the foundation of everything. Walk. You cannot walk too much. Walk and build your horse's frame, response to your leg, your balance, your softness. So another thing that happens, and I'm not again saying this is your case, Imogen, but generally where we get into problems is the rider asks for a canter, and because they're tense, they don't release the rein, they don't follow with the arm. So the horse gets pulled back or bopped in the face with the bit. And now the horse is worried about being asked for a canter transition. Okay, so we need to be riding at our best. We need to be relaxed and supple and dancing with our horse, having that connection and moving with our horse. So
it's and I think it's also as Anne said, we get tense and we don't release, and I know that that's definitely something that I am still prone to. And before lockdown, the last time I rode Nick before lockdown, I went to ask for canter, and we've been working quite hard on this, and we've been really getting a lot of progress. And as soon as I went to ask, I was like, I am tight today. So instead of working on the canter, because I knew that that's where my hips were going to tense up, because I was worried about all of this other world stuff, I took us right back and we worked on having the most wonderfully springy forward trot ever. And I kind of let myself take the pressure off and say, there's a lot of other stuff going on right now, and all of us likely have things going on at the moment which are quite challenging. So actually just recognizing that, you know what, today me and Nick just need to finish on a win. And just taking it back and getting that really, it was the best long and low trot I think I've ever had out of him. And it was perfect because, took into account the situation. So it's, you know, that was.
And if you watched my live that I did yesterday, there I talk about some tips for coming back to riding, some mental tips, and one of those tips was, excuse me, go slow. You can't go too slow, but you can go too fast for both you and your horse. Often people come back, you know, they've been off for whatever reason, and they just want to get back to where they were. And it takes time to get back to where you were. You got to rebuild that and take little steps. And as you take those little steps, you'll get there faster than if you push yourself or you push your horse and you end up going backwards because you get overwhelmed or your horse gets overwhelmed. So you often hear me talking interchangeably about the horse and the rider because it applies to both, whichever one is dealing with an issue, a challenge. Okay, so Imogen has said in her mind it's always the what ifs, and I think that something bad is going to happen. So challenge those what ifs, Imogen. Ask, is it true? If it's true, if there's a high risk, if there's a high probability that it could happen, what steps do you need to take to change that outcome? Because it's not, we're dealing with live breathing and large animals. So it's, yes, mindset's part of it, but making sure we have the strength, the capability in our own bodies, and that our horses do as well. That's part of it. And what steps do, what piece is missing that you need to go back and perhaps work a little bit in the foundation to progress. So maybe cantering isn't the thing right now. Maybe, as I said, it's more time at walk. It's more time on transition. It's more time on helping your horse supple up and do some lateral work. I can't say. I don't know you, don't know your horse. Lovely in the picture, by the way.
I have been admiring.
Yeah. Love a dark, I don't know if he's black or very dark bay. My mare was a very dark bay, almost black. So let me know if that's helpful, Imogen. Mary says, I've been using Anne's mental strategies a lot this week too. Well, I hope they're helping you, Mary. Liz says, I think most of us have those what ifs. We absolutely do. It's the way our brains work. We have a negativity bias. Our brains have a negativity bias, and we're always going to look for, what could possibly go wrong, unless we do the work to change that. It's like, building up your muscles. You retrain your body, you retrain your brain. It's another muscle. Let's see. Imogen says, I did do my first canter in months on a hack yesterday, and I'll use that ride. Oh, good. Use that ride as my good ride in my head because I was so proud of myself. And you should be. And you absolutely take those moments and blow it up and congratulate yourself and tell everybody about it. Talk about it till they're sick of hearing about it, because we so often talk about all the things that went wrong, or we'll pick out one negative part of a ride. Forget that. Get the good. And celebrate it. Keep replaying it. That's absolutely, and reward yourself. That's absolutely the right step.
When me and one of my really good friends, so we met at uni in the equestrian club, when me and her have a good ride, we will give each other a minute by minute account of all of the wonderful things that the ponies have done, down to the point that I'm pretty sure I have spent like about 15 minutes talking about one transition that was just so good. So take the time and, find yourself a Clara. I've got one you can borrow her. She's great. To like tell all your successes to, and really I mean, I don't know where in the world you're from, but I know that in the UK we're not all that good at blowing our own trumpet. And I think that sometimes when we've dealt with confidence issues, we need to be able to take a moment to go, you know what, I was absolutely awesome there.
And that's what you do. That's what you use our confidence horsemanship community for. You come in there and you share that because you're going to inspire somebody else. You keep a little journal after your ride, after every ride, write down something positive. And then when you're having a bad time, as we all will, we live these roller coaster rides, you go back to your journal and you find those happy times and you read your happy stories and remind yourself. So that we got to stay on top of that. negativity bias. Mary says, Shona, just like my muscle tension, I wasn't releasing it, but you are now, right?
Yeah. So Mary and I had a talk about some self-massage techniques, which are really good for releasing tension. So that is my kind of, I spend a lot of time helping people roll around on foam rollers, and they are great. So if you do have a foam roller, I can possibly put together a little thing about releasing upper back and shoulder tension for riders as well. If that'd be of interest, pop in the comments. Let me know.
That might be a nice little thing to put into our group for the program to get the people started who are in there already.
I will do that.
All right. Well, we got a lot of comments there. Oh, hi, Kim. Kim says, sorry, I'm late. Oh, flood in the barn. Oh, I hope it's not too bad. Was it a broken water pipe? Because unless it's raining out there. Kim is east of me over towards Kingston. And I don't know if you've had some heavy rain, Kim, or if it was a water pipe or something. Let us know.
I don't know why when Anne mentioned if it was raining, but I looked out my window. I'm in a different continent.
We're all connected. Imogene says, oh, he is black. And very helpful advice. Thanks a lot. Great. Okay. Well, you stay, come into the group and tell us how you're doing. Keep coming in there and sharing. Anne says the foam roller. Yes. So apparently Anne has used the foam roller with success.
In case, I'll go and grab a foam roller just in case anyone doesn't know what they are.
And Mary says, excellent release techniques, Shona. Yes, she's good at what she does, is our Shona. Okay,
and I gave away that I'm in leggings and a human jumper as opposed to.
You live in leggings.
I don't know how people cope wearing jeans, but this is a fairly standard foam roller. Also serves as a ferret tunnel. So I have one of my ferrets has been known to walk through the middle of this while I've been using it. But yeah, excellent bit of kit. Always happy to help people get used to using them. They are awesome.
Cool. So I think I've come to the end of our questions and comments. Thank you for staying with us through this this live. Remember that if you're interested in the Fit and Focused, I always say it backwards, the Focused and Fit to Ride program that starts the week of June 22nd. Shona put the link in there already. You can go and have a look at more details. You can ask us, get in touch, ask us questions. And we already have some people who have come into the program. So we're getting rolling with our private Facebook group. We'll be putting some tips and things in there over the next few days. And we will be back next Wednesday with another
Circle of Control. I'm consulting my life.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yep. That's our fancy high-tech calendar. Next week we'll be talking about the Circle of Control.
Yep.
Kim says, oh, a broken water pipe.
Ooh.
Oh, that's not fun.
So Anna said that she's confused by the payment schedule at the different levels. So no, there's just the one level. It's just if you need to break the payments down. So you can either pay in Canadian dollars, US dollars, or pounds. And each of those are roughly equivalent. You don't get a discount by going to one currency over the other unless after today's announcements in the UK, the pound just crashed. So it just means you can split it between two if you need to, because we know that there's a lot going on right now, so we might need to split the payments out, but it works out costing the same.
Yeah, so you have the option, you pick whichever currency you want to pay out of those three, the pounds, the Canadian, or the US dollars, and then you have the option in each of those either to pay in full or to split the payment. And even if you split the payment, if you register this week before Sunday, you're getting the full early bird rate. You're not being charged extra for paying in two installments. We recognize that, me included, our incomes, may have taken a bit of a hit over the last little while. So we're trying to accommodate people. So thank you for asking that, Anne. Okay, so Kim, I hope your water pipe is sorted, and we are going to head off then. So thank you again for joining us. Watch out for our lives. Shona and I are doing individual ones, and we will be back together next Wednesday to talk about the circle. What's it called?
Circle of control.
Thank you. Circle of control.
I only know that because I just read it again.
All right. We'll see you then. Bye for
See you
now.
later. Bye.